breaking records everywhere he goes. But for Bayern Munich, it was, as we were saying before, a really professional performance. And what you saw between a side who are, you know, perennially in the Champions League into the latter stages, and this young Chelsea side who've been out of the competition for 2 years, won the Conference League and the Club World Cup, of course. But this was a real sort of baptism of fire for them, just to kind of see where their level is at and where they need to reach. Yeah,
this is the top level. This is what it's all about as players. You want to play here, and all them young players will have dreamt of being on this stage and stepping out and hearing that music. And for some of them, it was the first time they would have done that, and they got a baptism of fire because you go into Bayern Munich away, and they competed and they done okay, but this is the level, isn't it? And I think Munich showed there's levels to this league, and they were just a little bit ahead of Chelsea in most departments, weren't they?
Yeah. I thought possession-wise, Bayern dominated the start, you know, and they were quite efficient, you know, when the opportunities came. I think Chelsea did well to actually come back into the game, scored a fabulous goal on the counter-attack, and that's the one positive, I think, for Enzo Maresca. They look quite dangerous going forward, obviously. With Cole Palmer, you always have a chance, but Bayern have so many weapons now. Obviously, Diaz on the left was great. Olise was probably the star man, and Harry Kane with a double. So they didn't defend as well as they could, and we highlighted before the game. Goalkeeper probably need another centre back. There's still a little bit of work to do there to get this team up to the level of a Bayern or a Barca or a PSG.
But we did talk about, as you say, that defence and looking at the centre-backs. But I tell you what, Robert Sanchez had a decent game considering what was thrown at him tonight. He
was good, you know, and he needs that. And he's building from the World Club Cup. Before he had good performances, he was diligent and he made the right saves. So he's a work in progress. The team's a work in progress. The two centre-halves have come in, Chalobah and Tosin tonight, and they had a difficult night. But this is lessons. When you lose a game like that, you can either feel sorry for yourself, or you could pick up through the rubble and figure out where you can improve. And they need to be smarter in holding the ball possessions, because on the turnovers tonight they got done.
Yeah, you say it was a difficult night for the centre backs, Chalobah in particular, and you know, he's been a decent performer this season so far, hasn't he, for Chelsea? But it just wasn't his night at this particular moment, because it was a strange free kick in the first place, wasn't it? And of course, as we'll see here, it did result in an own goal for Chalobah.
The ref blocked the initial one, so then they do a drop ball. They're not really prepared. The ball gets out wide to Olise, João Pedro 1v1. There's only one winner there. Whips it across into a dangerous area. Anybody that touches that, it's an own goal. But you know, they just weren't really prepared. But that, you know, that with the drop ball, you don't really train that, Resh. You know, but Olise was fabulous. That ball, Joe, is chaos.
Sumptuous.
Chaos.
Sumptuous ball in there. You know, Trev can't. So many things were wrong with that goal. First, we don't have João Pedro out there defended. Enzo could have come across. Cucurella could have been a better position. And by the time the ball's come, it's difficult for Trev.
He can't do anything.
He can't do nothing about it. No.
Yeah, exactly. Just caught off guard a little bit, maybe. But then it was 2-0. There was a penalty here, and I guess you can't really argue with it, can you?
But the problem is the second and third at Chelsea's, they're in possession. They're trying to play out, turnover of possession, and then the foul from Caicedo, who gets caught wrong side. You know, at times there's nothing wrong with sometimes clearing your lines, because you turn it over in this area in the final third. It leads to these moments, and like Joe mentioned about, you know, the difference between the Conference League and the Champions League. You make a mistake like this, balls in the back of the net. And they actually didn't play poorly, Chelsea, you know, but they made a couple of mistakes which really hurt them. And you know Harry's not going to miss from there.
Caicedo for the penalty there. You know, you talk about composure in the final third. Composure when you're defending as well. You
Especially
know,
when you're wrong side.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you've got to
let him have it,
let him have it, and then see what happens. But he was a little bit overeager. By the way, he's been brilliant. So, but on that occasion, he was too eager.
And you can't teach that, can you? That's just kind of in-game managing yourself, isn't it? Really?
You get better as you get older, obviously, and he's still a young man, Caicedo, and I think he's one of the best midfielders in the country. It wasn't his moment. I think he still had a good game.
Yeah, and Cole Palmer really did give Chelsea a lifeline here, didn't he? What a response from the team.
Well, but it was also Bayern trying to look for a third. You know, they're trying to press, they commit bodies forward. You can't leave Cole Palmer in that space. He's too good. The way to the pass out wide and little cutback from Gusto. This finish, I mean, Cole's just ridiculous in these situations, Joe.
He's a genius.
He is, yeah.
Because, you know, people might have thought I was going a bit too wild over that goal because it's a simple 1-2. But running at that pace, leaving it on the right position, onto the back foot of Gusto, and then having the wherewithal to open up your body on the run and just hit it with a meat of your foot to lift it into the roof of the net. You know, the kid's a genius, and it's a privilege to have him at Chelsea and England, and he was brilliant tonight.
And he's one of those star players. He's one of those who will raise his level the deeper he goes into this kind of league phase or the rest of the competition, isn't he? Because he's got something, he's got the X factor about him.
I think he's one of the few players that actually gets better the higher the level goes.
Yeah.
You think back to the goals that he scored in, you know, finals for Man City, and you think about the way he played at the Club World Cup. He has something very unique that the bigger the light gets, the better he
Euro
gets.
finals for England, he come off the bench, didn't
Yeah,
he?
exactly. I mean, it's just in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've either got it or you haven't. I'll tell you someone else who's got it is Harry Kane, the England captain and England number 9 as well, scoring 2 goals on the night. And this one, I suppose, Chelsea sort of left themselves a little bit exposed, didn't they?
Well, they're trying to play out again, you know, and you can't give... I mean, first of all, the finish is ridiculous. But, you know, that's a straight ball into Gusto, takes a heavy touch, poor. Then I think Chalobah's out of position there. I tell you what, Joe, though, the finish
is sublime. The finish is sublime. Do you know what, right? We're better. It's a beautiful finish where he's opened up. But 2 things have got to happen for Chelsea to improve. You've got to improve at this level and move the ball sharper. But also, like to call it the what-if players. You know, like the centre half. You've got to believe that your mates, you're going to lose the ball and cover around slightly. They're just marginal things. But that's what you get to when you get to this level, and you're going to try and beat Bayern Munich or Liverpool, or Man City. It's the marginal things like that that are going to improve.
But Joe, the second and the third goal. They're straight passes from the full-back to the winger. That's a dead pass. It's too easy to go and press. You know, and I think Bayern obviously knew they were going to play and then they go turn it over. I think you either need to go into the striker or you go into midfield and you play it around the corner. But I think, you know, playing that ball cost them twice, you know, and I'm sure Enzo will look at that and go, right, we need to tweak that.
Yeah, look, there are lots of reaction on Harry Kane. I mean, he is phenomenal. Actually, I want to ask you, Joe, because pre-match you talked about Cole Palmer. You said, you know, I'd put him in the top 5 players in the world. If you were to rate Harry Kane, where would you put him?
I'd put him up there. Again, it's getting smaller. They're 5 getting smaller, I know.
Who else is in the
There's a few in there. Harry Kane's the best centre forward in the world. What do you think, Owen? I mean, in terms of the complete package, it's horses for courses. What do you like? Haaland's got obviously attributes, but if I put it like this, if I'm a manager and the ball's dropped, it's 1-1 last minute of a cup final, and I can have any player in the world for the chance to finish to. It's going to be Harry Kane.
Yeah, and you think about penalties, big moments. He can drop off and play as a number 10. I mean, you make a good point about what do you prefer. You know, Haaland has these crazy physical gifts, and he's a lethal finisher, and he works incredibly hard. But Harry is such a smart player. He doesn't rely on any of that physicality. Drops off, gets it. Again, we got Lewandowski. Ousmane Dembele is, you know, turned into one of the best centre forwards, even though he wasn't one. So. There's so many different types, and I think that's what makes football so great. You have all these guys that can do it so differently.
Where would you put Harry? Up there as well?
I think he's somehow underrated, if it's even possible when you're scoring that many goals. But I think because he's so quiet and humble and such a gentleman, he maybe doesn't get the limelight that some of the others get. But I reckon most managers, I'd say 89% of managers, if could have one, it'd be Harry.
Was that a frustrating night for Chelsea out there tonight?
Yeah, I feel like we deserve more, to be honest.
Was it quite a surprise to be 2-0 down after 26 minutes? Because you started really well.
Yeah, we started well. I think we had early chances to score. But when you make mistakes at the highest level, then it's always difficult to come back in any game.
What were sort of the main mistakes that were made tonight by your side?
Maybe just a bit of lack of concentration and not managing the moments correct. But like I said, I feel like we've shown that we can play against one of the best teams in the competition. Yeah, I think we deserve more, to be honest.
Has it given you, so where does it rank in terms of Champions League? You're back in it for the first time in 2 years, but does it give you confidence that you can go toe-to-toe with teams in this competition?
Yeah, the manager said to us before, he knows we can go toe-to-toe, and I think we've shown tonight despite the result. But, you know, it's a good learning curve for tonight, and to be back in the competition is nice, so just need to kick on from here.
Yeah, because at half-time, 2-1, you come out looking pretty strong. What didn't quite happen in the second half?
I don't even know, to be honest.
But a learning curve, the competition was always going to be a learning curve for Chelsea this season?
Nah, we're not coming here to be a learning curve. I feel like we've shown tonight that we can compete and we want to do as best as we can.
Lovely. Cole, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Cole Palmer, man of few words sometimes, but, you know, he did say a few interesting things there. He talked about lack of concentration and those sorts of things. I mean, at the end of the day, those things did come into play, and we saw that play out on the pitch as well. But I suppose you can't get away from the fact that, you know, we were discussing it before, that there is a very, very different level to coming into the Champions League. But I suppose you have to say that Chelsea are still very well prepared, considering that they have won 2 pieces of silverware already. It's a side that are still kind of, you know, gelling together, and they have done. They will be united in those moments that they have won things. So they're kind of on the right path, aren't they?
Yeah. Chelsea are in a good place. You know, like you said, 2 trophies, the World Club Cup. You know, we didn't know what to expect from that. Winning it is opened a lot of things up. The reshuffling around, the change in the long contracts, the young players. We all know the direction the club's going in. For that man in the picture behind me, though, he'll be frustrated because he'll know that they're better than what they showed tonight in moments. Cole Palmer, we recognised it was concentration and things like that. I think tonight, I said before the game, I think we'll see where Chelsea are at. And I think that was a good indicator. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of positives. And when you've got Cole Palmer, I think you can win any game over.
Yeah, I think João Pedro looks fabulous as well. You know, Neto's good. I just think, if I think back to those Chelsea teams that won everything. You know, you had Peter Cech and you had Carvalho and you had John Terry. That's the basis of any team. I think that the midfield 3 is almost as good as anyone's. You know, Caicedo, Enzo, Cole Palmer. But I still think they will probably address that in the coming windows. But I think there's a nucleus there that's going to be really special for Chelsea. And I think today just highlighted that. It's not a criticism, it's just a fact. And I thought the 2 young centre-backs did OK. But we're talking about Diaz, Olise and Kane, some of the top performers. So it was a big ask for them. But mistakes cost them more than anything. But I do think if they can address that centre-back position, even though they got Fofana and Colwell, 2 fabulous players, I think they just need a little bit more experience as one of those players.
Yeah. How much are they missing Levi Colwell?
Yeah, massively. And do you know what's going to be really important in the coming weeks? Particularly, we don't know how Trevor is, but keeping Fofana fit.
Yeah.
Because he's a hell of a player if he can stay fit. We've seen what he can do, but he's been blighted by injuries.
That could be a great partnership there.
Yeah,
Fofana and Colwell.
There were moments like I think that's the frustration with Enzo. I think Levi was so good at the back end of last season, and you expect him, right? Okay, he's maturing and emerging as a leader, and then he gets the injury. And then now you're looking at some young centre halves in Achapong and Hato and toss into.
Hato's going to be a good player for them.
Yeah,
but again, you're right. They're young boys, aren't they?
Yeah. Again, and I'll go back to it, and I'll be banging the drum for it. If you had a senior central defender in that group,
Mark Gahey, you know, I know he was a Chelsea academy boy, but somebody like that, you can just super reliable. You just pop him in, mentor the young boys. I think having these young guys is amazing. Yeah. But I think having a mentor, we all had them as young kids coming through. I think Chelsea probably need like that Thiago Silva type, maybe a little bit younger, but just to help these young guys in a game like this, away from home in Munich, where it's very challenging.
Yeah.
Just want to ask a quick one on Reece James. I mean, he's the only player in that squad who was part of the Champions League winning side in 2021, playing a little bit out of position today as well. What did you make of his performance and the leadership?
He was OK. You know, I still like Reece as a fullback. I think Enzo likes to sometimes play him in there, and I think he's been very smart with him. He's managing these minutes because Reece is in the same boat as Fofana, where he would break down, but he's had a real steady run of games over the back end of last season, the World Club Cup, and he's been used wise. I like him at right back.
I do as well.
Where he can see the game in front of him, you know, because I think his delivery is as good as anyone. In midfield, sometimes, you know, it's the hardest position on the pitch to play.
And you got your back to the game.
You got your back to the game. You're constantly. You can't switch off. You know, your concentration position, or you've got to have a 180 degree vision. You've got to see everything. And I'd like him at right back. So he was OK tonight, but I think
I'll tell you who looked good when he come on.
Santos. Yeah, we like him. Yeah,
that's a player.
Yeah,
he looks so comfortable on ball. He's only a young Brazilian, but he looks ready to go. Yeah, confident on that stage away in Munich. I just thought he took the ball. He's aggressive. He can pass it. He played that pass for Cole Palmer for the second goal, which was disallowed for offside. But he needs to play a little bit more because there's something special there.
Oh, you think like how stacked Chelsea are in the midfield
And Lavia.
And Lavia as well, you know, and the forward players and everything, and you think a little bit light centre half, and then goalkeepers. You know, if Sanchez gets injured, you as well. And then you look at the teams above them who are definitely above them, like Arsenal and Liverpool, and you look, there's the more balanced the squad, ain't it?
Yeah.
And you need to have a balanced squad, and that needs to be players, a bit. It needs to be experience, bit of youth, 2 players in every position. Chelsea, you're not quite there yet, you know, but they're on the right path, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, exactly. We will see how they go. It was only the first one, first match day. They did lose, but Harry Kane was on the winning side, of course. He terrorised that defence, didn't he, for parts of the evening. Let's hear from him now. He's been speaking to Becky.
Harry, from a Bayern Munich point of view, a good night all round?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought from start to finish we played at a really high level today. With the ball, moved it really quick. Without the ball, had high intensity, pressed well. You saw that with the 3rd goal. So yeah, just a pleasing night. You know, we're playing against a really tough side. I said that before the game. You know, they have some great players. The way the style of play can be difficult at times, but ultimately, you know, we deserve to win, and it's a great start to the campaign.
A brace for yourself again tonight. You just make anything look so effortless and easy, even though I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, no, it was a nice couple goals. You know, the penalty, they're always nice to score, and but the second goal was a good finish. You know, like I touched on, great pressing from the guys. I kind of just found myself in a bit of space there, and was able to kind of bend it into that far corner. So I feel in a good place. You know, I said physically, mentally, I'm kind of in as good a shape as I've ever felt, and in this team I know I'm going to get chances, and it was the same again tonight.
Do you think the experience of the Bayern appearances came into play against the Chelsea side tonight in the way that you could see the game out?
I think so. I think even when it was 3-1, we was the team with the ball, we was the team making it hard for them to press, creating angles, and sometimes that just kind of really kind of demoralises their hope in a way, because they can't even get the ball, and yeah, it wasn't like we just kind of started going long and kind of saw the clock out. We moved it and probably created a couple more chances we could have done better with. So that was pleasing, you know, in the big games, being able to do that, and we're going to need that for the rest of the season as well.
Look at that, 6 wins from 6 across 3 competitions. Going well this season so far.
Yeah, let's keep it going for sure.
Harry, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Harry Kane already in double figures in terms of goals, and is only 6 games in, 1 in the Champions League, 5 in Germany. It's phenomenal, isn't it? And when you've got someone like him, when you've got the front 4 that they have, would you say, I know you're not so convinced, Owen, in terms of if they can keep this squad together, everyone, you know, kind of stay away from injuries, do you think that they're a side who can challenge
for sure?
This?
Without question. I just think they need to add some depth. I don't think they have enough depth for the squad. For, you know, think about all the games that they have. You got to remember, they have 2 of the best players in their position in the world to come back, Musiala and Alphonso Davies. So Bayern will get stronger, but I do think, especially in the middle of the pitch, I don't know if they have, you know, Kimmich obviously is fabulous every time he plays. Young Pavlovic played in there, you know, had an okay game. Goretzka's in there, but they don't have much else if they get any injuries. But I think Vinny's got them playing in a super aggressive style, and they could beat anybody on their day.
Yeah, that's where I think they'll fall down. I think the way that they play, like I said, I think the players are there, squad's a little bit thin, but I think the way that they play, I think they'll get hurt too much. Defensively, I still don't think they're good enough.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
OK, we will see. But they've done well tonight. They got the victory tonight over Chelsea. It was Enzo Maresca's first match as a manager in the Champions League. Baptism of fire for him as well. Let's get his reaction. He's been speaking to Becky as well.
Enzo, clearly not the result, but performance-wise, what did you think?
I think overall the performance was quite good. We start very well for the first 20 minutes, creating 2-3 clear chances. And then when we concede the goal, that we can avoid that kind of goal. The game changed a little bit, but again, we were in the game, we scored a goal. Also, I think in that action, the decision from the referee has been quite tough, because for me personally it's more red card than yellow card when there is not intention to go for the ball. But even with that, we start second half creating chances, starting the right way, and then after we concede the first goal, the game changed again.
Start of the second half, it did look like you could get back into it. What didn't quite happen in that second half that you wanted to see more of?
Nothing. We just, unfortunately, we just conceded one more goal that killed the game a little bit. But even with that, I think we were in the game. We tried until the end. We scored another goal that unfortunately was offside. But again, it's a game that, with the penalty, with the red card, with this kind of action on goal, it's a game that then become a little bit difficult. But I think we can learn a lot from this game.
What can you learn from this? What have you just said to your team?
Yeah, first of all, that this kind of game requires to play in the right way for 95 minutes, not just for part of the game. I think we did that for part of the game very well, but in some moment we were not good enough. But we can, as I said, we can learn many things.
Was a positive tonight Sanchez in goal?
Sanchez, Malo Gusto was very good. Cole was. I think all the team, to be honest, they were very good. Was a good performance from all of them. Now it's time to recovery because in 2 days we have another tough game.
As you said, you were happy with sort of the performance and what you saw out there. It's been so positive around the competitions that you've been playing. You've won them. Was this maybe a bit more of a reality check tonight within Champions League football?
Yeah, it's a reality because Champions League is this kind of game, especially against Bayern, that is one of the favorites. But again, I think overall we compete quite well.
Lovely. Enzo, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, good to hear from Enzo Maresca. Very kind of sanguine, really, about the performance, but very honest as well. And I think, he could take a lot back from that game.